Hello, everyone, and welcome to your weekly dose of truth tarot. Bird and I are sitting here. We're working with June 19th to the 25th. We're going to get solstice on Sunday. It's going to be summer in the northern hemisphere, and it'll be winter in the southern. At the same time, it's going to be Father's Day. So let's look at what we could maximize for all that father energy. Now, obviously, you could say, well, maybe I'm not a father, um, or I'm female, or whatever you want to say. I'm looking at, um, what is that honoring within? So, because a lot of us are on our own, a lot of people don't have kids. For obviously, this will also relate to people who have kids and people who are fathers, of course. But I like to make the entire world inclusive. I want to include everyone because there is an understanding that we all have masculine and feminine. We're also, did I mention this, that we're in the waxing moon, so we can increase the energies that are required. So I'm using, this is the Greek mythology tarot. I'm not great at Greek mythology. We could look it up, but I'm just going to pull some cards from here to look at what do we need to do for summer, our masculine, our dads, because every single one of us has a dad somewhere. And if you don't have a dad, if you sadly enough don't have one, you can think about who your idol is. So let's look at the first card that comes up. Wow, it is the Tower. And if you look at the Tower, it's Zeus. So, Zeus, the lightning god, right? And, oh no, sorry, actually, the tower is Poseidon. I'm really sorry. Um, this is Poseidon. This is the god of the ocean. That's what they decided to use here. So he's the god of sea, water, and earthquakes. Interesting. I saw the trident, and I went, that might not be Zeus. All right. So this is a very different energy than when I first thought it was Zeus. This is going to be uh, the way in which we tame our emotions. All right. So you could think of the stoicism of the masculine. Now, the tower is destructive, so it destroys um, the the belief systems, you could say, because the tower usually is let's destroy those belief systems that are hindering us. Okay. And those belief systems, if we have belief systems that, let's say, are against nature, and in this case, Poseidon is a good uh, illustrator of nature and how destructive nature can be. In this case, it's the ocean and earthquakes. So that kind of rumbling, when we do something that is against nature, what can happen is uh, you'll get the destruction. So it could be, it's not really against necessarily what you think is your nature, but what would be the nature of who you are, right? So, one of the things people always talk about, I mean, I've heard this over and over again. Oh, it'd be so nice if the world doesn't have any hierarchies. Absolutely ridiculous. There will always be some form of hierarchy. Now, if you're talking about power and people using power over someone else, I doubt that'll go away. I wish it would, but I doubt it will go away. As we know right now, uh, you can use being a victim, to actually uh, overpower other people, which is just really like a warped sense of power, a warped sense of what's going on in the world. I mean, almost all power. I mean, if our fathers have power over us when we're children, and the father knows what is best for the child, you've got someone teaching you something wonderful, right? So as we come into summer and we think of our dads and the good things they taught us, like my dad taught me to work hard. He taught me how to save. He taught me, maybe some of the things went a little bit too far, like being a little bit too frugal about things, not taking enough risk when could have taken a few more risks in my life. I took risks where I shouldn't have taken risks, and I didn't take risks where maybe it would have been good to take risks. So we can evaluate that for ourselves as we look at not just what the father did not do that you think as a child, oh, that wasn't good. Look, they're only human, right? But if we look at where would my masculine have have adopted something that ends up being the victim, which would end up overpowering my capacity to deal with what is going on in the world, in my world, like how to get food and shelter and pay my bills. Those are the most important things. As we know, there's so much political stuff going on. Uh, that's just fine. I used to have an argument with my cousin about hierarchy, about feminism. We used to kind of argue, and more recently, I met up with my cousin, and she said, "I don't know what I was thinking. Those things were ridiculous that I was thinking." So I was like, "Wow." So I spent a long time arguing against those things, and then people come on their own. I don't know if I influenced her at all. I probably did not, but coming around to the other side going, why bother? Take care of your own life, take care of your family, take care of your neighbors, take care of your neighborhood, take care of the community, create your own communities. And that way we won't experience this kind of destruction. So if you're not experiencing a good life, if your life is not working, well, time to use Poseidon, use that masculine energy to destroy within before we're destroyed from the outside, right? Before something gets you, right? If somebody does not pay their bills, eventually that's going to come and get them, right? You don't pay your electricity, it could be midwinter and all of a sudden you have no electricity. It comes to get you. Those are the things that we best need to deal with. We don't have to worry about the powers that be or those people that are trying to overpower. If we are doing well, then we've already overpowered. So let's see what that says. So justice is blind. Oh, yeah, of course, justice is blind, right? So whatever is going to happen, justice doesn't care what your excuse is. Justice doesn't care how you sit in the world. Justice doesn't care how you are involving yourself in your life and what your excuses, justifications, and reasons are. It doesn't care. And nor does Poseidon, nor does this destructive tower energy. Doesn't care. But if you volitionally destroy your beliefs that work against you, how do you know what beliefs that work against you? Well, the ones you argue about a lot, the ones that create factions, the ones that divide. Remember, anytime you're believing something that is divisive, there is divide and conquer. That doesn't mean you wouldn't have a debate about something. That doesn't mean you wouldn't have a discussion that gets heated. That's not the point. The point is you don't want to adhere to something so strongly where you cannot. I'm not explaining this the best, but ultimately you have to keep looking from the outside to see what's actually going on, right? So it's not so much, okay, I have this viewpoint, like all these different things I'm saying right now are viewpoints that I have, uh, you know, churned over, viewed, looked at from different angles. It comes out as a summary, but if you go more deeply and explain it, well, I've had belief systems that have bit me on the butt, turn around and bite me. And justice doesn't care. I've never looked around and thought, oh, justice will prevail. It doesn't. Because you have no idea what past lives, if you had done something terrible in a past life or in this lifetime, you've done something that you have not looked at and thought that was a sin. That was something that was a sin against myself. I've done something wrong. And you make excuses for it. Well, it's going to bite you. All right. So we never really escape something we've done. We don't escape, even if it's your own mind that causes the problem. All right. So here we go. So this week's a heavy duty week. Let's see what the third card is. I shuffled a little bit and I dropped one. So this will bring you ultimately peace. All right. So this card is the Two of Swords, where the mind goes in and gives you something to bring peace to your own mind. Again, look at that, double blindfolds, right? And this one fell. And I'm kind of going, well, what's going on here? 5 of coins is poverty. So if you're not breaking down your own beliefs and seeing if they really, really work out, do they really, really work out for you? Are your beliefs giving you what you need to live a good life in the world? Or are your beliefs just going out and combating, like, what's his name? The guy who fought windmills. Yeah, are you just going out and fighting windmills? This is going to cause a lot of disappointment and difficulty. Or you come to peace. So destroy the beliefs that are not working out. This means that, because if you are in agreement with what is happening to you, the outcomes in your life, then you know you're in alignment with the outcome. If you're against the outcomes, right? So if you eat too much, you get fat. And if you say that's not fair, well, then you are not in alignment with nature. If you eat too much, you get fat. All right? If you do negative things, if you do things that harm people, well, then you're going to be ultimately harmed. I mean, these are just obvious things, but sometimes I feel like they're not obvious because they're more subtle, right? So the subtlety would be, well, I'm alone in life, right? I hear this quite often from people. They're all alone. I'm alone. I have no one. But I don't want to change who I am to be with someone. I don't want to change who I am. If you're alone and you're fine with it, that has nothing to do with anything. Some people are just fine being alone. Who cares? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people who are alone and are not fine with being alone and then will not make the changes. So it'll bring you down eventually, because if you're not enjoying being alone, well, then that's a problem. It will eventually bring you down. So, yeah, look at some of these things and see, what can I volitionally, like Poseidon, and just take and destroy on my own so that I have a better outcome, that I'm in alignment with the justice of the universe, not my justice, not the justice of I don't know, the law, but the justice that is in alignment with the outcome. Because you could say some of the outcomes are unjust. Yeah, they really appear to be, but are they? Are they? Are they unjust? Maybe it's because we just didn't do our part in clearing what is going on within ourselves. That is only for the individual to answer. And, I'm just thinking about it now. Solzhenitsyn actually discovered that. He said, if I within myself resolve some of the things that are going on with myself, I can change the world. And he actually did. He brought down the Iron Curtain, basically. He's the one who, his book ended up, the Gulag Archipelago ended up exposing Russia for what it was. So there we go. You can make those changes. These destructions can make life very different for everyone. Okay, so there you go. Probably that's a little bit deep for the tarot reading this week. So let's just summarize it as look within yourself, see what belief systems that you need to destroy. How do you destroy those belief systems? Test them for yourself. Do they work? Do they work in nature? If you did not have a city and you're living out in nature, do your belief systems work? Will animals, obey you? You know, will you be able to go out there and live? If not, then you've got something faulty. Break that apart so you can live in peace rather than disappointment. So there you go. Have a wonderful day. I love these cards rotating all over the place. And have a wonderful week and happy summer. Bye.